What was your worst single day in Kemerovo?
Easter 2023. They take us out to the yard for exercise. That happened once every 8 or 9 days. 2 loud knocks on the door. You drop face down on the floor. Command, get up. You kneel, head down. They pull a bag over your head. You put on the prison coveralls they hand you, hands behind your back, bag pulled tight, they yank you up. You stand behind the guy in front of you and put your hands on his shoulders. The next guy does the same. All 4 of us from the cell. Hands on shoulders, we move out on command, and they start beating you instantly. Heading down the stairs, one of the guards spotted my tattoo. They drag us into the exercise yard, line us against the wall, bags still on our heads. 2 guards storm in, run up to my buddy on my right, pull up his sleeve and say, "Not this one." They step over to me, yank my sleeve up. "Oh, this one." Immediately, I take a massive blow to the ribs. I collapse, unable to breathe. The guard screams, "Get up, you freak." I try getting up, then comes a second blow to my leg. I drop again. He yells, "Get up, you freak." I try standing up, can't do it, so they just start wailing on me relentlessly.
While you were on the ground?
I was lying on my side. They beat me until my mates pulled me up to my feet. Roughing us up a bit more, they start leading us back. They exit the yard. Command comes to take off the bags. I pull the bag off my head and realize I can barely catch my breath. For a bit, we walk clockwise, then counterclockwise. You can't raise your head or look up. Suddenly, a voice from above shouts, "Where's that freak with the tattoo? The pitchfork?" They called the trident a pitchfork.
Could you show your tattoo to the camera if possible? Just so viewers understand, it's simply the lesser coat of arms of Ukraine, an official state symbol, nothing more.
He yells, "Where's that freak?" I step out of line and he commands 300 squats. I face the corner and start squatting. Around squat 150, my legs are shaking uncontrollably. He goes, "Pause, catch your breath, keep going." I keep squatting while my cellmates stand there. Then another shout from above. "Why are you assholes just standing there? Help your buddy." So all 4 of us are doing 300 deep squats.
All 4 of you?
All 4. There was a guy my age, a younger guy, and a real young kid. Everyone squatted. Yard time ended. Command came to put the bags back on. They put the bags on and started shoving and beating me specifically, not the others. The entire walk back to the cell was a continuous beating, hitting wherever they could, face, groin, arms, legs, total body. Got back to the cell, kneeling down. The guard asks, "Where's the guy with the pitchfork?" I say, "Me." He says, "That tattoo better be gone by morning. Do whatever you want. Gnaw it off, rub it raw. If I come back tomorrow and see it, I'll beat you to death." They took the bags off and left. At lunch, the hatch opens. "Where's the guy with the tattoo?" I show my arm. Well, obviously I hadn't gnawed it off. I said, "I'm not doing that." The guard says, "Fine." The hatch slams shut. 2 knocks on the door. We drop back to the floor. 3 guards storm into the cell and start pulverizing not just me, but everyone else too. They used hammers, batons, boots, hitting everywhere. Head, torso, limbs, didn't matter. They beat us for 10 to 15 minutes, left, and brought lunch. But you couldn't even eat at that point.
Wait, so everything you just recounted happened before lunch?
All of that happened before lunch, and then it continued after lunch.
The beatings continued after lunch too? Was it a new shift of guards?
No, it was the exact same shift.
Had they not noticed your tattoo before?
They hadn't paid attention to it before. They saw it at intake, but then an administrator noticed it again. Some guards saw it and didn't care, but others lost their minds over it.
It was a major trigger for them?
Huge trigger.
Let's try to wrap up on a somewhat more positive note. How and when did you find out you were being exchanged? What were your emotions? Did you even believe you'd get out?
On June 19th, lights out was called. We were just starting to strip down when suddenly 2 hard knocks on the door. All 4 of us drop to the floor again. The hatch opens, and they call out my name and another buddy's name. The guard yells, "Get up, get dressed. The rest stay down." I get dressed. The admin staff enters the cell. I'm kneeling with my back to the door, head down. They yank a bag over my head and lead me out. They march us down the hall and line us against a wall. I can hear other POWs standing against the wall beside me. They lead guys away one by one, then my turn comes. They take me into an office. They pull off the bag. 1 guard is standing against the wall, another right next to me. Small room, maybe 6 by 12 feet. Sitting at a desk is an admin official wearing a balaclava. He asks, "Want to go home in an exchange?" I say, "Of course I do." He slides over a sheet of paper. A pre-written statement saying, "I, full name, born year, residing at, refuse to participate in the war against Russia upon release and will no longer fight for Ukraine." The second sheet he slid over was an agreement to cooperate with them. Naturally, I wrote it all out and signed it, knowing full well that the second I reached our side, I'd report everything to Ukrainian security services. They questioned my buddy the same way. He went through the exact same drill. Then they sent us back to the cell. Morning wake up, and they call my name again. Same procedure. Kneeling with my back to the door, guard comes in, puts a bag on my head, leads me downstairs. They didn't call my buddy's name that morning. I thought I was just being transferred to a different cell. Brought me down to the basement, walked me into a cell, and there I saw my guys from Sukhodilsk. Back there, we could only only glimpse each other at the bathhouse, nowhere else. Seeing my comrades from Sukodilsk, we started quietly whispering, "What do you make of this?" Nobody knew anything for sure. Maybe an exchange, maybe something else. I said, "Until I see our flag with my own eyes, I'm not even gonna let myself think about an exchange." Administration comes back, inspected us, ordered some to get haircuts, some to shave. They take us to the bathhouse. And in the bathhouse, the guards spot my tattoo again. While all the guys run to wash, 6 guards jump me and start beating me all at once. My feet weren't even touching the ground. They ruptured my left eardrum and broke 2 ribs. I finally scrambled into the shower area. They turned on scalding hot water. You couldn't stand under it without getting burned. They tossed disposable razors to everyone and ordered us to shave fast. I couldn't shave in time because my beard was so thick the razor wouldn't cut through. They shoved us back into the cells. Admin officer comes back to inspect. Walks up to me. "Why aren't you shaved?" I say. "Didn't have time. Beard's too thick. Razor clogged." They handed me hair clippers and I shaved with those. Then they pull us out one by one into the hallway again. I hear screaming, guys running, getting beaten. They shove them into another room. Our cell's turn comes, same drill, run down the hall, get beaten, shoved into a room. Inside there are about 20 prison staff members, some in balaclavas, some without. They hand out new clothes and a boxed MRE ration to each person. I thought we were being transferred to another penal colony or prison. A prisoner transport van arrived and they loaded us in. We drove for quite a while, then pulled over. I thought it was a train station where they'd load us onto a prison train to move us down the line. But the guy said, "No, hear that? Airplane engines." I said, What airplane?" Then I listened closely. Sure enough, it sounded like one. The doors opened, we were ordered to keep our heads down, and our eyes were taped shut with duct tape. As they marched us, I heard the roar of jet turbines. To be honest, my heart dropped into my stomach, because back in 2023, a transport carrying our POWs was shot down. When I realized it was an IL-76, I was terrified. But what can you do? You're completely helpless. They just haul you into the plane like livestock. Slammed us on the floor, knees pulled up, hands tied behind our backs, eyes duct taped, can't see a thing. Head forced down. Guards walked up and down, beating anyone who tried to raise their head. They took away our food rations, saying they'd return them when we landed. We took off and flew for a long time, landed somewhere. The ramp opened. More people were loaded on. You couldn't even ask for water. Someone tried asking for water and got beaten half to death. Took off again, flew, landed. The ramp opens, they start marching us out in a single file line. You either hold someone's hand or, once our hands were untied, hold the shoulders of the guy ahead, and right then, on the 20th, I saw green grass for the first time in 6 months. They marched us around that airfield blindfolded for about 6 hours in a line. Only allowed us to use the bathroom twice. They kept our food rations at the airfield. The guards literally used the MRE boxes as a soccer ball. They came around, double-checked our blindfolds. If anyone could peek, they rewrapped the tape. Said buses had arrived to load us up. We had no idea where we were walking. Walked up some steps, got pulled inside, sat down. Suddenly I felt aircraft engines starting up again. I thought, hell of a bus, no idea where we were flying. Flew for about 3 or 4 hours. Landed, ramp opens, guards come around and cut our blindfolds and zip ties. I turned my head right, and an 22 anti-double-decker transport plane. Our POWs were seated on the lower deck and we were on the upper deck. I look out at the airfield, green grass. As the guys from the lower deck exited and our ramp lowered, I started walking down and saw a sign on a building, Gomel.
That's Belarus.
I realized we were right on the doorstep of home. They lined us up near the plane where 4 Neoplan buses were waiting. A Russian representative stepped out and said, "You are no longer prisoners of war, you are released." They loaded us onto buses and drove us to the border. We waited there for a while for our team. The guys were celebrating, woohoo, exchange, exchange. But I said no, until I see the blue and yellow flag and our military camo, I won't believe it. And when our buses carrying their POWs arrived, I looked at them and realized the absolute hell we had survived. They were well-fed, fresh-faced, and us who were looking like skeletons.
I take it you only truly registered it once you were back on Ukrainian soil?
When we crossed over in that gray zone between Belarus and Ukraine, we stopped at an open lot in the gray zone. I stepped off the bus, dropped to my knees, and kissed the ground. That was the exact moment I realized I was home.
Andrii, how old are you?
53 years old.
So you survived this absolute nightmare as a 50-year-old man. Once again, I am filled with awe for the unbreakable spirit of our people, the spirit of Ukraine and Ukrainians. Thank you for volunteering for the war, for executing your combat missions, for enduring all of this, and for finding the strength to share your story. We hope the world holds these atrocities accountable and that sooner or later the treatment of our prisoners changes.
Thank you.
That was Andrii Stratiichuk, a former police officer who volunteered for the war, was captured, and just shared his story. We'll see you in the next episode of the True War Crime Podcast.